when you see parents crying on the television because their son and daughter is missing. I'm a parent. When my daughter comes in from college, to this day, when she goes out, I stay awake for her. I can't imagine getting that phone call. I just can't. I can't imagine getting a phone call at 2 in the morning or 4 in the morning.
After the moving vigil on the steps of the Bronx County Courthouse, we sat down with Councilmember James Vacca, who shared his thoughts and what he wants to see get done after the Orlando massacre. Just to be in the know, Councilman Vacca came out publicly as a gay man earlier this year, and this is his first Pride experience.
Well, I had woken up that morning at 7:30 in the morning, and the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is put the TV on to hear the news. And when I heard the news, I was shocked. I knew that this was a tragedy of monumental proportions because I had heard that 20 people had died. And then as I continued to change channels to get more information and listen to what was going on, now the toll was rising to 50. My first reaction was that this was obviously a hate crime. This was obviously someone who easily got a weapon. And these are families who are forever stained by what's happened. And that feeling is something that a parent never wants to experience.
Right. When asked about his thoughts on people judging the sexuality of gay men and women, this is what the councilman had to say.
I think a person's sexuality is nobody else's business. Okay. I don't think it represents a reason to hate. Individuals who have different sexual orientation basically don't do negative things to other people. If someone doesn't bother you, why would you dislike them? I don't understand the rationale for hatred in that regard. I really don't understand the rationale for hatred, but I don't understand how you hate people you've never met, that have never done anything to you. There's no rationale for hatred. And based on that, I think the hatred is irrational and misplaced.
Although this is Vacca's first year celebrating Pride as an openly gay man, he says his emotions are focused on the families of the Orlando victims.
The only emotion I've experienced really is the emotion over the loss of the families, the people who died in Orlando. I really have not, to be honest with you, I've not focused on myself the last week. I focused on these families. It's very consuming, and it's been a challenge to watch the news at night. When you see people that you know have done nothing wrong suffer like this, so it's a challenge. Right. Well, if I had an opportunity to talk to the killer before he killed, I would have talked him out of it and tried to talk him out of it. But now, if I had an opportunity to talk to him upon his death, I would have told him that what he did was terrible and destructive, and that he is a hater. This is an individual who hated himself, so therefore he hated others, but he had no right to do to others what he did. Well, I'd like to say that this is a time to galvanize people. This is a time to reflect. It's a time for people to come together, but it's a time where we have to rededicate ourselves to basic beliefs that we in New York have always had. Those beliefs are that people are good, people are entitled to respect, and that we're entitled to live in a nonviolent society, and a heinous crime like this cannot be tolerated by a civilized society. We have to move forward, but we cannot forget what's happened.
According to Vacca, this is a time to reflect, come together, and rededicate ourselves to basic human beliefs that people are good and entitled to live in a nonviolence community as we move forward, but not to forget what has happened. For BronxNet, this is Nancy Asiama reporting.